It's time to get our mind right with the Mind No Greatness Film Crew, aka with the Big Boss Hog. What's up, y'all? Y'all already know it is the Big Boss Hog, Boss Dog, cake poked through the dough, here to talk this football. This came out the gym, so I'm all sweaty. You know what I mean? This the Mind No Greatness podcast. You know what I mean? I know we ain't been shooting. You know what I mean? We've been busy. You know, I told you I'm in school. But y'all go subscribe to Clutch Factory and go check out my videos on Boss Hog Boxing Channel if you want to. All right. So let's give a recap of yesterday. I'm doing 3 games that I picked to be the highlights of yesterday. We're gonna start the Texans versus Vikings. Man, that hurt my heart. My Texans go down 34-7. It was a great game plan by the Minnesota Vikings. They continued to stay hot. Sam Darnold had 4 TDs, throwing to 4 different receivers, and they ran the ball for over 100. Aaron Jones did a phenomenal job. They seemed to confuse C.J. Stroud a little bit. Texans also couldn't run the ball, and defensively they just couldn't stop the run. So Texans got a lot of injuries, but I'm not too worried about them. The only thing I would say is that Bobby Slowick gotta just call the offense a little better. The offense is predictable. When guys are, gonna get the ball. When Tank Dell gonna get the ball. When Stephon Diggs gonna get the ball. When Nico Collins is gonna get the ball. So when they're gonna run the ball. So it's like he has to get better at play calling. I feel like a lot of people know what the Texans are gonna do, and if they want to be a top tier team in the NFL, they got to get better with coaching. I feel like they have the players. The coaching got to be better, and I feel like the coaching is not up to par, up to standard. Even on the defensive side of the ball, they allow too many big plays, to happen, and that's why these guys are able to get in field position on them. They'll do well, get teams on third down, and then a big play happen. And then it seems like the defense kind of gets down a little bit. You're not going to be able to do that rah-rah stuff. That rah-rah stuff is not going to work every time. You got to be able to be fundamentally sound and do your thing and just be able to stay locked in. It's easy to have all the motivational speeches and all that, but at the end of the day, you got to play ball. And I feel like the Texans got to get back to just playing ball. Stop being predictable on offense and just play. And they're able to do that, man. They can. The sky's the limit. But it's the beginning of the season. That's why I say I'm not too worried, because they got to figure things out. The coaching staff and the players, they all got to figure this out. They got to figure out how they're going to work and gel together in order to get to where they want to get to, and that's the Super Bowl. So, great win by the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are looking pretty good right now. We shall see, how they look for the rest of the season. Is this a beginning of the season type thing, or can they keep this going? Can they stay hot for the rest of the season? So, and I really like their head coach. He seems to understand matchups and things like that. They moved Justin Jefferson around. They play matchups on the Texans, and the Texans, they got to do a little bit better. With play calling. I think it's coaching. I don't think it's the players. I feel like it's more on the coaches, in my opinion. So, but shout out to the Minnesota Vikings, great win. Let's segue off into the next one. We got the Baltimore Ravens. They took care of business against them Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk about it. So Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry ran the ball phenomenally. It was a great balance between them. I think Derrick Henry had 25 carries for 151 yards and I think 2 touchdowns. And then Lamar Jackson, I think, had over 50 yards on the ground and a touchdown. And so it was a great balance. It was a blowout. The score was 28-25. The Cowboys made a late run in the later half of the game. But it really wasn't that close. The Cowboys just got up a bunch of, I would say garbage yards. Dak Prescott had over 300 yards passing, but like I say, it was garbage yards. A lot of people, we'll talk about that in a minute. it's not really that much to break down. This is a must-win game for Baltimore. It was a must-win win for the Cowboys, and Cowboys didn't take care of business yet again. Are the Cowboys spiraling out of control? Yes, they are. I feel like they gotta simmer down, but offensively, I feel like they need a running back. I don't feel like the running backs they have are, backs to be, that can carry the ball, 20, 30 times. Zeke is not the same running back he once was. I do think Zeke is a good short down back. If you get 3rd and 4 or 2nd and 1 or you're on the goal line, I feel like Zeke is that guy. But for Zeke, to be that old back he was, you can give him the ball 20, 25 times, I don't feel like he's that guy anymore. I feel like, he kind of lost his step. So, they signed Dalvin Cook, but I haven't seen any ounces of Dalvin Cook. So, I don't know, what's going on with that. The Cowboys should have drafted a running back. They failed to do that. They let Tony Pollard walk to Tennessee. It's just a lot of questionable things that the Cowboys did this offseason. And it's starting to rear its ugly head right now. You know what I mean? So, they could have had Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has a house in Dallas. Don't understand why they did not get Derrick Henry. If they got Derrick Henry, I believe this team would be better. But they're kind of relying on Dak to save them. And truthfully, Dak is not that type of quarterback. It's no disrespect to Dak Prescott, but he's not that type of quarterback that can drop back 40 and throw the ball 40 times. He's a guy that's more successful. And you can look at his winning percentage. I think it's, when the Cowboys have a running back over 100 yards, I feel like they have a higher winning percentage, and Dak Prescott plays better. So, I know people looking at, he had 300 yards. He got a lot of those yards in garbage time. You know what I mean? I'm not finna count that. You know what I'm saying? But I think that, the Cowboys, what happened to them was they didn't make any moves this offseason. They didn't go capitalize on a lot of the major free agents in the offseason. And it's like I said, it's showing, So we'll see. It's early in the season. So I'm not going to completely write off the Cowboys. I know I don't like the Cowboys. I ain't going to lie to you. But I'm not going to write them off. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the NFC East is still wide open. And I feel like it's up for grabs. You got Philadelphia, who's having issues. I feel like they don't really know who they want to be. I feel like they got an identity crisis. And you got Dallas, you got the Giants. The Giants are the Giants. And you got the Commanders who they young. You know what I'm saying? They got the young quarterback. They're just trying to figure things out. So we shall see how everything goes and how who comes and rises to the top. But shout out to the Baltimore Ravens. They took care of business. Must win. They got the win. And, that's Baltimore Raven football right there. When they run the football like that, they have that good balance. They're able to be successful. If you're trying to get Lamar Jackson to throw the ball 40, 50 times, it's not the fact that he can't do that. It's just the fact that the winning percentage, you can check the stats on that. I think when Lamar Jackson drops back and throws, over 40 times, I don't feel like he has a winning percentage. I think I got to double check on that, but that's my take on that game. Kansas City versus Atlanta. Great game. Atlanta played Kansas City tough. Kirk Cousins had a touchdown and an interception. That he threw a touchdown to Drake London. But Atlanta gotta be able to run the football. I wasn't impressed by their running game. But although it was a tight game and it came down to the wire, I feel like that was pass interference. I feel like Atlanta should have got another opportunity, but Kansas City get bailed out again. You got Rice. He had 12 receptions, over 100 yards, and a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes had 2 touchdowns and an interception. It was a competitive game. I gotta say that, but a lot of teams gonna play the Chiefs pretty tough because they're the Chiefs. They're the top team right now. Sad to say. I'm not calling with you. But they're the top team right now, and, a lot of teams are going to get, are going to play them tough. So, I think that, I ain't going to hold you. I think that, when when it's all said and done, we might be looking at a 3-peat from Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. You know what I mean? We shall see. You know, it's a long season. So, you know, anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? Another team can get hot and, you know, start cooking and just take off. So, but as of right now, you know, the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, they looking how they looking. I mean, you know, these games are close. You know, the first 3 games been close. So, they got all that speed, you know, but, you know, and I think they just re-signed Kareem Hunt, you know. And Kareem Hunt, man, I'm not going to lie, I wanted the Texans to pick him up as a backup to Joe Mixon. Not going to lie to you. You know, it's not the fact I don't believe in Cam Akers, but I feel like Kareem Hunt is like a diamond in the rough type of back. You know what I'm saying? He a backup that can be a starter. If your starter's out, get about a Kareem Hunt, let Kareem Hunt eat. You know what I'm saying? He gonna give you, you know, a great performance. So, like I said, we shall see how this thing goes. You know, the Kansas City Chiefs are the top of the league right now. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Go subscribe to Clutch Factory. You know what I mean? Continue to support us on Mind on Greatness. Boss gone.